Okay, fixing my hair. Okay, everyone, blessed be. Welcome to Mystery Witch School, another live stream. Today we have the live stream working. I apologize for last week. I just couldn't get the live stream to work. There was something going on actually with the internet, I think. Today we're talking about identity shifting with Hekate, so unlocking your inner transformation with Hekate. And that's identity shifting. Well, it's not really for a new you, it's the real you. It's just a version of you that you haven't been expressing before. So we're going to talk about that. And hello, Dwight. Hello, Marlene. Hello, Moira. Hello, Elizabeth. Blessed be. It's good to see you all here. Now, if you're new to the channel, welcome to the channel. If you're watching the replay, welcome to the replay. You can still join in if you're watching the replay. You can still give super thanks. There's super chat for those of you in the live, and still comment and join in on the conversation, even if you're watching the replay. If you're new to the channel, my name is Sandra. This channel is all about things Wicca, witchcraft, magic, tarot, shadow work, and we do have quite a bit of shadow work on here, and I do talk from time to time about Hekate, particularly in regards to shadow work. And hello, Spice Lover. Hello, Sandy. Hello, Angelie. Hello, Brighton One. Good evening, good morning, wherever you are in the world. Okay, so the reason I wanted to talk about more of this identity shifting with Hekate is because it's something that I've been doing with Hekate over a long period of time. So that's why I wanted to talk about it. But first, of course, if there's a lot of you who may be new to witchcraft, or you've been practicing for a while, or you've sort of been practicing on and off, and if you are wanting to actually start your witchcraft practice and you want to make it a regular thing, but you just don't know where to start and how to pace yourself along the way in regards to learning the different things, like where do I start? What's the first thing I need to learn to do? What would be the most helpful thing for me to learn to do when I start my witchcraft practice? I have a free masterclass. It is called How to Start Your Witchcraft Practice. So I want to let you know about that now. It's also in the description field underneath the video if you're wanting to find it that way, or you can go onto my website, mysterywitchschool.com, and find it all over the website, because I think I've got it as the main freebie at the moment. Okay, hi Brandon, greetings, blessed be. So let's talk about Hekate and what's been going on. So I have been working with Hekate on this for quite some time, and I really feel usually whenever I discover something that really works for me and then I find it works for other people, I want to share it with everybody. And so I've been doing that work with Hekate, and together with Hekate, I've been working on a new course that is called Journey with Hekate, and it is a course in doing this identity shifting work with Hekate. I'm hoping to release that course in November. November in a modern sense, November being a month that we've now associated with Hekate, and I'm hoping it will be around the 16th of November that the course is released, which in modern times is a day associated with Hekate. It's not traditional, but it's something that has crept up over the years, and why not celebrate the next month with Hekate, as witchcraft, spirituality in general is progressive, and often we add new things as we go along. Okay, the ultimate guide to starting a Wiccan practice that works really helped me. Recommend it for others. Awesome. Thanks, Marlene. So the ultimate guide to starting a Wiccan practice that works is one of my short courses. It's a 5-day course, so it only takes you 5 days. And it just takes you day by day into each step to set up a daily practice. And when you have a daily practice, you've got something that connects you to yourself and to your spiritual path. And within that daily practice, you can then add things and do things within that practice that will help you turn up for yourself every day. It's really simple, but that turning up for yourself every day for maybe 10, 15, or as long as you like, minutes is really, really helpful to get you started on the witchcraft path. Okay, good morning. Onasafura. Hope I pronounced that right. Okay, so that's coming up in November, so I wanted to tell you about that. You will hear more about that as it gets closer. So, why Hecate and what is identity shifting? So, first and foremost, identity shifting isn't about becoming a better version of yourself or becoming somebody else or becoming uh, like anyone else. What identity shifting is essentially is changing how you see yourself and how you feel yourself, essentially. How are you feeling you? And how do you feel you now in a way that you're not comfortable with? You don't like it. You'd like to feel a different version of yourself. So, for example, if you're shy or you have social anxiety, when you've got to go out and be with people, you may not like the way it feels when you're with people. And there can be a part of you that doesn't like the way you are with other people. You may wish that you were more outgoing, wish you could be more confident with people, for example. And so identity shifting is about you becoming more comfortable with other people and feeling very comfortable with you being with other people. So it's changing how you're feeling about yourself. And when you change how you feel about yourself, you change how you behave and you change your circumstances and you start to attract more of the things you want into your life. Now, the identity shifting is crucial for really good magic because you have to be the person who has and does those things you're doing spells for. So if you want to have wonderful love and relationship in your life, then you have to be the person that has that in their life. So you have to be a person that can feel the love for yourself and feel the love for others at the same time. If you're wanting to bring more money into your life, you have to be the person that has more money in their life. So it means you probably have to change your mindset and beliefs around yourself and money. And then as you change those beliefs and you start to feel more like you're allowed to have money or you're allowed to have love or you're allowed to have these things and that you can have them too, then you start to manifest opportunities and see opportunities and start to do things. You start to tap into your creativity more so that there's more creative ways that you can express yourself or go places and do things. And this is because you've changed your perception about yourself and your ability to have and be these things. You've changed who you are energetically. So this is an energy thing, it's a psychological thing where you're changing how you feel about yourself by changing how you think about yourself. So it's part of shadow work, but it's kind of like a deeper part of shadow work. So while I have a course called Wheels of Empowerment, which helps you go through all your different beliefs that are keeping you stuck at each chakra level, and that's great at releasing negative beliefs. The identity shifting is kind of like the next thing where you're really starting to get down with changing the way you feel about yourself on a very conscious way. Okay. Yes, identity. And why Hecate? Well, Hecate is a goddess of liminal spaces. She's a goddess of the crossroads. She's a goddess of the three worlds. So she can help you with anything that's in the underworld, the middle world, or the upper world. And our personal underworld is our subconscious mind. And so, from that perspective, you could sort of look at all of these negative beliefs that we have about ourselves or limiting beliefs that we have about ourselves are kind of like the little nasties that are in the underworld. And they're up to mischief and they can be quite dangerous. You know, if you're traveling on the astral plane and you get the lower astral entities, they can be something that can be really, really misleading and tricksters. And of course, our subconscious programming is a bit like that too. And so Hecate is great at helping you dig deep into the subconscious mind, into that lower chthonic nature layer of ourselves, and find these things and help change those. She's very good at it. She holds the keys to unlocking the doors to things, so new opportunities, a new way of being. So it's like she's giving you the key and she's asking you to unlock the door to a new reality. She has a lot of symbols of this transformative aspect of herself. The crossroads, for example, is you have many paths that you can take, and various different paths can actually help you experience various different things. And she's a lady of the crossroads who can help you navigate your pathway through life. She's a goddess of liminal spaces. So where different spaces end and become other spaces. So between the world, walking between the worlds. She holds the torches to help you guide and light your way through your path. She even has a dagger as one of her symbols and one of her tools. And the daggers, of course, can cut through illusion and cut through things so that you can make things more spacious and more clear. So she works with a lot of that energy. She also works with the energy of the serpent, which is an energy of transformation, again, wisdom and transformation, shedding your skin, which is kind of what you're doing when you're doing identity shifting. You're shedding an energetic layer of your skin to actually reveal what's underneath that skin. And that skin, of course, has been used to keep you safe in the past, but it's not keeping you necessarily that safe in the present moment. So that's why you have to shed that old skin. She is also associated with owls as well, which is going into the shadows. Owls can see very clearly in the shadows. They're nocturnal animals, and they're very silent in the shadows as well. They're silent hunters. And associated with canines as well, dogs. And dogs are an interesting creature. They are often a symbol associated with the underworld, and they're guardians. We have had dogs for a very, very long time in humanity, and the dogs helped with the hunting, and they also help with guarding as well. So they've been with us for a very, very long time. So there's many things that are associated with Hekate that can help you with the shedding the old identity or the old feeling of the identity with the new. She's also a goddess that's associated with the dark moon, again, which is going into the dark places, the hidden places, the places that we can't see, and finding what is down there and transforming it and changing it to something that is helpful for us. Okay. Why is she sometimes called the blunt drinking goddess? I assume that's probably got something to do with the way people may work with her. She has established in the modern world there's people who see her as a very sinister, dark goddess. Back in ancient times, people did offer blood as offerings to deities. Those blood offerings were usually animals. You also have to understand they ate the animals as well. So offering a part of the animal to a deity was just offering the part of an animal that they were using anyway. So they were part of what people did back then. And blood is associated with life as well, so the lifeblood. So people often will associate her with that. There's also metaphor associated with the life, the drinking the life. But I don't really see her as a blood drinking goddess. I've never seen her that way, and I certainly haven't worked with her that way. And I know many people who do work with Hekate who just don't see or work with that side of her. It's totally unnecessary just to be constantly focused on the dark, sinister stuff where you're focused on constantly defending yourself all the time by attacking all the time. It just does not work for happiness. And I think Hecate often lets people fall into that hole so that they can learn that it's not the way to live. And she is a goddess that will allow you to fall into holes if you're doing things that are not helpful to you. Okay, Elizabeth, I found Hecate is excellent with getting to the root of false identities by getting you to understand the trauma wounds under them. Yes, she does. She makes it very clear. She does indeed. Absolutely. She helps you see where it's come from and what it is. And she will also help you then transform and change that. You often have to see the dirt before you can clean it. So if you've got a mirror and you want to look in the mirror and see your reflection, if there's a lot of dirt on the mirror, you're going to have to clean it first. And that's why we often look into the shadow self, into the negative and limiting beliefs, is because you've got to see what they are before you can change them. She's also associated with the anchor, so I find she is associated with the sea and cleansing. Yes, she is associated with the sea, the land, the sea, and the sky. She's associated with. There's a bit of a connection there with the Isis energy of the sea, where Isis is the star of the sea. There's a bit of a connection there with Hekate there. So she is definitely associated with the ocean and the sea, for sure. And when I first connected with Hekate, I was actually sitting in a liminal space, which was between on the shoreline, which is a liminal space, and was connecting with her, overlooking the ocean with the moon up there. And it was the moon that kind of said to me, "It's time to work with me now," and that was Hekate. Okay, so the process of working with Hekate on identity shifting is a combination of various different things. So this is where you can use ritual and you can use invocation to or evocation to Hecate, asking her to come and be with you. So that daily practice that I think we were talking about further along is a great way to every morning establish a connection with Hecate while you're doing this kind of work. Now, one of the myths about Hecate, and I'm pretty sure it's a modern myth, is that once you start working with Hecate, you've got to keep working with her. Otherwise, she will do bad things. This isn't true. I have worked with Hecate on and off, and nothing bad has happened, and she hasn't cared a hoot. She doesn't give a hoot, really, whether you're working with her or not. She will open the invitation to you. If you don't accept it, sometimes she can be persistent, but she's not going to do anything to you. I mean, she doesn't have that ego that does those kinds of things. She is not an ego-oriented deity. She is beyond that. So a lot of people project their egos onto deities, and Hecate has had a lot of very nasty egos projected onto her. So often you will hear these sorts of things about her that just simply aren't true. And I know other people who work with her on and off, and they've never had a problem with her. So don't be afraid to work with Hecate if you feel you're not going to work with her every day of your life for the rest of your life. It's not. It simply isn't an issue. But it is good to work with her every day if you are doing this process so that you can connect with her and engage with her to build that connection and that engagement as you would a human being. So having a daily practice, asking for Hecate's presence is the first place to start. You need to have an awareness in your life that there's a need for change, that things just simply aren't working the way you want them to work. You're not happy with the way that you feel about yourself and your life, and that you'd like to change that. You'd like to feel better about yourself. You'd like to feel more abundant. You'd like to feel more love. You'd like to feel more happiness and joy and peace and empowered in your life. And these are the things that will inspire you to go on this journey so that you can become the person that is empowered, become the person who does have the love in their life, become the person who does have the abundance of material resources that you want and need, to become the person who has good things always working out for them. And while some of those things aren't going to happen every day, of course, life happens and stuff happens that we don't want to have happen. When you start doing all of this kind of work, it makes it easier for you to navigate even the times when things aren't working out that great. You can navigate your way through it with much more peace and much more of a peace of mind, a sense of connection, a sense of self. Even when things aren't going that great, you can still sail through it to some degree of peace rather than letting life rock you about as if you are a ship sailing on the sea with no ability to be able to navigate on your own. Moira says, I was called to Hecate several years ago, but was scared off by this. Exactly. Oh, about the thing where you must work with her for the rest of your life. Yeah, it's not true. It simply is not true. Uh, so the awareness of the need to change will come from your discomfort, essentially. If you're not feeling comfortable with how things are, or with yourself, then it's time to make some changes. And calling in Hecate as a guide is a way to do that. You're asking for her help, essentially, and hopefully asking for her help in a way that is a positive thing. Positive for you, it becomes positive for others. Anything that you experience does have a trickle down effect on other people. So, the more you can have in your life that is really helping you feel good, feel empowered, feel joy, feel love, feel abundant, is going to have a trickle down effect on the people around you. It is going to, your energy is going to emanate those things, and you're going to find it'll attract different people into your life for a start. And you can also find that it's going to radiate positive vibes to others when they're just around you, simply because of the way that you feel about yourself and life in general. It has that energetic appeal to other people too. So you're helping other people by changing yourself. And releasing the old identity will be with rituals with Hecate, journaling so that you can get down on paper uh, beliefs about yourself and even acknowledge the changes that you've made so you can record your progress. And guided meditations are a wonderful way of doing this kind of work. The work that I've done with Hecate has been a combination of doing emotional freedom technique and tapping, and also guided meditations or simply meditations that where I have truly felt into what it is like to feel into the aspects of myself I'm not comfortable with and I'm uncomfortable with, and really knowing what does that feel like. And when you know what that feels like, you become aware of it. And then you transform and change into the opposite, into feeling the other way. So if you're feeling like, for example, a really common belief, especially for a lot of people that are on a spiritual path, is the belief I'm not allowed to, or that there's some kind of authority out there, whether it be a spiritual authority or a human authority, that's telling you you can't do it, that's holding you down, that's telling you you have to suffer in order to get what you want. If you don't put in the work and you don't put in the suffering, and it's, you're not going to get it, you don't deserve it unless you put in a lot of work and a lot of suffering. And these beliefs actually stop you from achieving what it is you're wanting to achieve, because there is nobody there telling you you have to suffer. There really is nobody there telling you that it has to be suffering or you're not going to get the cookie at the end of the day. It really isn't about that. And we can even attribute these qualities to the deities themselves. And you might even have this belief that Hecate, for some reason, doesn't want you to have something, and that she wants you to work hard for it and you have to suffer before you can get it. And then when you actually feel into that feeling and then you feel into the opposite, especially if you're tapping on it, you realize Hecate's got nothing to do with it. She really doesn't give a hoot how much you would suffer for something. She would probably prefer you to actually figure it out, that you don't have to suffer for it. But you've got to figure it out. She's not going to figure it out for you. And when you figure that out and you realize there is no deity out there that wants you to suffer for something. You do not have to suffer, 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 suffer. Work, work, work really, really, really hard in order to achieve something. There is no deity out there requiring you to do that. And that's so liberating and empowering to come and to change that belief that there is into the understanding that there isn't. So this is all part of the identity shifting, getting rid of all of these beliefs of being down here or being stifled in some way by some superpower or something or someone or the establishment. And I mean, even if the establishment has been suppressing us for a very long time and is continuing to do so in the physical sense, the human sense, it doesn't mean that we have to feel that we are being stifled. We can change our vibration, change our energy, and then actually create the magic to make that change. And if we all did it, the world itself would change and we wouldn't have all of these suppressive aspects and authorities trying to keep us down. So identity shifting is something that's really important for everybody to do. It's important for the whole world. Okay. Yet I've also noticed she sometimes will see how you will handle attacks. Can you step into your power? Yeah, she won't do things for you. She won't do things for you. And sometimes when you start working with her, some things may happen or appear to go wrong. And it's basically giving you an opportunity to grow in that moment. So it's not like you have to suffer to grow, but sometimes you have to experience discomfort in order to push yourself that little bit further. So things may happen, for example, she may give you indication that it's time to move house, for example. And so something will go, she'll make you lose your keys. I think that did definitely happen to somebody once. It was time for me to move on out of a share house, and this person was working with Hekate, and they lost their keys. So it was like a symbol of, it's time to move on. So little things like that. Hi, Joe. And she will give you little nudges and little pushes towards things, but she doesn't give you anything you can't handle. So there will be nudges, there will be little pushes here and there that may peeve you off a little bit. But they're more a peeve, a bit of a peeve. Like, there's something that annoys you rather than something really, really bad. It's more of an annoyance. Were those things likely to go wrong anyway? Only you wouldn't have a deity to lean on. True, absolutely. Yes, yes. A lot of people experience it, though, when they first start working with Hecate, that these things happen more so than when they're not working. And I often wonder if that's just simply because your reticular activating system is more aware of them because you are working with on this work and you are working with a deity, and that it's really that you're just noticing these things more now than what you did before. So there could be an aspect of that too. I'm really so very proud. Thank you, Maha. They happened for me anyway. Yeah. So, and things will, of course, happen. Life happens, and these things do happen. Hecate will help you figure it out, though. She will help give you opportunities to. And I find with Hecate more than anything, I get ideas from her. She gives me ideas. If I open to ideas, the ideas come in, whether they're from her or whether it's just my reticular activating system again. Opening up to things because I've given it that um, that task. I don't know. I can't say for sure. But when I do ask for guidance from Hecate, I do get quite a stream of ideas and things come in from her. So I find that incredibly helpful. And another thing that's really powerful about identity shifting is while you can imagine the old you and then step into the new version of yourself, it's also important to embody it on a physical level. So I find that doing meditations, like walking meditations, if you're just somewhere quiet, so maybe you're walking in the woods or walking in the forest or walking on the beach or walking in a quiet street somewhere, if you decide to go for maybe a 10-minute walk, but before you do that, you focus on stepping into this new version of yourself. What does it feel like to feel empowered? What would it feel like? Have a guess if you don't already know what that feels like. Or try to think back to a time when you did feel powerful. And then take that feeling on and go for a walk with it. How does it change the way that you walk? How does it change your posture? How does it change? And even if you change your posture first, so even if you're not sure what it feels like to be empowered, you can kind of guess that somebody who's empowered is probably going to walk upright. They're probably not going to slouch their shoulders. They're probably going to be very upright. Shoulders are going to be down and back. And the front of the body is going to be probably quite open and clear. And the walk is probably going to be a walk that has energy in it. So even if you just do that with your body, you just change your posture to be more upright, like put the shoulders down and back, that will actually change how you feel. So when you're changing your body's posture, it will change how you feel on an emotional level. It will change that feeling, and that can also then help you think more clearly and think more positively at the same time. So there's this interesting connection between the mind and body, where your thoughts affect your feelings, which affect your body, but your body affects your feelings, which can affect your thoughts. So you can work either way. You can either work from your body up to your thoughts or from your thoughts down to your body. And if you're a particularly body oriented person, like you're somebody that does a lot of body work, a lot of yoga, you're really into the physical stuff, you might find that changing your posture into the posture of that version of yourself that you're wanting to express and be and feel and experience will actually help you get into what it feels like. So what does somebody who is abundant feel like, who's got all the material resources they need, that you never have to worry about whether you can pay a bill or pay the mortgage or the rent again? How does that feel, and what would that feel like? How would your body react to that? Again, you'd probably be more upright. You would probably have a lot more energy in your body. It would be a very different posture that you would have to feeling that I don't know where the money's going to come from to pay the bills and yada yada. You're probably more enclosed in on yourself. So just change the posture and the way you feel will change. So these are things that I'm putting into the Journey with Hekate course. So there's lots of different guided meditations in that course. Every module's got a new version of a guided meditation to help you step into that. There's the walking meditation and also working from the body up as well, which I'll put in there. Another great way to work with Hekate on identity shifting, to uncover maybe the things that you need to work on and to get that communication going with Hekate, can be using the tarot as well for shadow work. The tarot is wonderful for shadow work. And I'm putting the tarot, you've got an option in the Journey with Hekate course to also do a mini course that goes with it that is about tarot and shadow work, and using the tarot for shadow work and some various different spreads and things that you can use to get the tarot to help you out a bit, because sometimes you can be a bit get stuck things, particularly when you're starting to get into the deeper layers. Like you might have done a lot of shedding of outer layers of shadow work and beliefs and things, but sometimes there's the deeper stuff that's still getting you caught, that you're still feeling just isn't, that's still keeping you stuck in some way. And it's the deeper layers of things. And so the tarot can help you with the deeper layers, because we often hide our deeper layers from ourselves. Now, Hecate can help reveal those too, but you do need to be courageous and brave to be able to face those aspects of yourself, to be able to go, okay, yes, I am doing this. I am believing this. And looking at the ways you may compensate for your insecurities as well. A lot of people compensate for insecurities through the shadow qualities, like greed, like selfishness, like narcissism, like arrogance, all those kinds of things. So we have to be able to name those within ourselves so that we can see where they're overcompensating for an insecurity that we might have. So arrogance, for example, can be compensating for a lack of confidence, actually. So if you start becoming confident, the arrogance disappears. It's not arrogance anymore. It's just, I'm totally confident with this. And there's no need to be arrogant anymore, because there's no need to compensate for that lack of confidence anymore. Greed is compensating for the belief in scarcity. So if you believe that if you give anything to anybody or anything like that, that you're going to go without. But if you realize that you are an abundant person and that material resources are always coming your way, supply always comes, then there is no reason to be afraid of, giving away some things sometimes. I mean, you don't have to give away everything all the time. That is another expression of a limiting belief. But by being able to let go sometimes. Okay. I think there is a goddess tarot. Try that out. There's probably quite a few goddess tarots. There is a Hecate oracle card deck. I don't have it, but there is one. It does look interesting. I just haven't got so much into the artwork with it, so I've never bought it. But there's so many tarot cards to choose from, and definitely there's goddess tarot cards out there, yeah. Okay, where are we now? Relatively new to witchcraft, and I haven't worked with deities yet. Would Hecate be a good start for someone like me? Look, Hecate is great to work with even if you've never worked with a deity before in your life. Seriously. You can work with Hecate in various different ways. So if you're working with her in a way that is like you're new to it and you're wanting things to be a little bit easier and bit gentler, then ask her to be gentle with you. Okay. So yeah, Hecate is great to work with. Um, oh, okay, thanks for the live stream. Thanks, Joe. I'll go back and watch from the beginning. Oh, okay, yes, because you rocked up a little bit later. I've been wanting to work with Hecate, but honestly, I'm scared. I've never worked with deities. Okay. Yeah, look, she's good with to work with. Just you've just got to understand that just because we're working with a deity, if something does go wrong, it's not necessarily the deity's fault. Okay, because life does happen. Working with a deity, you're working with a guide in guidance. So that means that you're sort of working in a bit like a teacher-pupil relationship. So there are going to be opportunities for learning there too. But it is very fulfilling to have spiritual guidance from spiritual beings. Hecate gives guidance when you're in a confusion and lost on the crossroads. She helps you to decipher your own intuitive thoughts versus others you're holding on to, and she sheds the ego and lights the way. She does. She does help you shed your ego. So if you really are keen to shed your ego, be aware that she will help you do that. And sometimes that can be, sometimes that can be a little bit of a whack over the head when it comes to the ego shedding, because sometimes it's a shock to us to see that our ego has been behaving that way, or that these things have been happening because of our ego. So it can really show you the shadow aspects of yourself or where your insecurities are, and really call you to step up into the higher version of yourself. And when you do step up into that higher version of yourself, then the situation, settles down or goes away or resolves. Okay. How do you discontinue working with Hecate? You just don't work with her anymore. You just, like, if you're doing a daily practice, for example, you would not call on her. You would call on maybe another deity, or just the god and goddess if you're being more generic. You just simply don't call on her anymore. It'll be a feeling that, now it's time to maybe work. Maybe another deity is wanting you to work with them. You might get a feel that, Briad's um, calling you at the moment, or Hathor is calling you at the moment. And often different deities will be calling you at different times in your life to help you with various different things. Hecate isn't necessarily going to want to work with you for the rest of your life. She's there to work with you on your shadow work. And if you finish your shadow work, or you're taking some time out, or you're having a little bit of a break from it, which we do, then, she'll go elsewhere until you're ready to start working again. So you don't have to do anything formal with discontinuing working with her. It's really just a matter of, everything. I mean, we live on a material world here where everything's tangible, and we think of, beginnings and endings. But when you're looking at a more broader sense of spirituality or consciousness, there is no beginnings or endings. You're always connected. So you're always connected to Hecate, whether you're consciously working with her or not. You're always connected to the deities that you work with, whether you're consciously connecting with them or not. So there is no disconnection from her. She is always there. She's a part of you. You're a part of her, because we are all a part of everything. So there's no real final not working with this, not working with that anymore. There's always still that whole connection there. Okay. How do you, oh yeah, I think I've read all of the questions here so far. So ask her to help you with your shadow work, with changing how you feel about yourself. And after you've asked her to help you with that, take note of what comes your way. There might be a book that comes your way. There might be a YouTube video that comes your way. There might be an idea that you have to do something or go somewhere. You might notice little things around. You might find an owl or hear an owl that maybe you don't normally hear them. Those kinds of things. Take notice of what happens when you ask Hecate to help you with your shadow work or your identity shifting, to see where she leads you. And everybody's going to be led in various different places. You might be led to the Journey of Hecate course with me, or you may be looking more at witchcraft in general, and so you're wanting to learn more about witchcraft first before you sort of dive into all of this sort of stuff, and set yourself up a good practice. Learn the energy work, learn how to create a circle, craft a circle, learn more about magic, learn how to connect with the deities via the sabbats, and walk a witchcraft path. So that kind of thing, which is my Mystery Witch School 101 Academy course, which I thought I'd just throw in there, because there's various different ways that Hecate can guide you to do things. She might guide you to something else that's out there. Jason Miller has a really good course on with Hecate, for example. It's not a shadow work course, but it's working magic with Hecate. So if you're wanting to go down the all of the more traditional ways of working with Hecate and inspired ways of working with Hecate, which is mostly what his course is it's inspired. Those kinds of things. She will lead you to various different places and give you various different food for thought and things that you can do. And you'll be opening up your own higher self to go down the path that you're wanting to go down for yourself. You'll be listening to your own inner guidance to know where to go and what to do as well. So it's simply starting with asking her to help you and then following the crumbs along the way to see where she's leading you. Okay. Do you work with Hecate in dream time? I find she offers excellent insight there. I haven't worked with her for advice or guidance in the dreams. I have found that she tends to come up in dreams when I'm needing to defend myself or something. That's the time she's come up in dreams. Pyro Munster says, I do not work with Hecate. I feel for me it is a natural spiritual journey. I do take everything in consideration and I'm not closed-minded. Awesome. You don't have to work with Hecate. Okay. Oni Sophura, when our chakra healed and aligned, we can work easily with any deities, especially Hecate, because fear is related to root chakra. Hecate helped me unify my mind, body, and soul, which was separated before. Yes, so she's great with that kind of thing. And yes, the root chakra, again, you're getting down into fear with the root chakra. Fear of being in the world, feeling fear that you don't belong in the world, that you're not allowed to be in the world, fear that you're not allowed to survive. A lot of root chakra stuff. A lot of people have issues with the root chakra. And if you've got trouble with money or material resources, like survival resources, then root chakra is one of the chakras that can be involved in that. There's others as well, but the root chakra is a good place to start. Is Hecate good for additional protection as a witch? Yes, she's great for protection as well. You can certainly call on her or other deities that she works with. She works with a lot of other goddesses as well. For example, the Graces, the Greek Graces, and I was going to say the Mire is the Greek word for the fates. She works with the Furies. She works with the Hours, the Horae. She works with a lot of the triplicities in Greek mythology or in the Greek pantheon. So there's a lot of, even the Gorgon are connected to Hecate as well. So this is where you're sort of starting to get into that more shadow side of it and the defense side of things. Okay. Yes, the gatekeeper, definitely. Any advice for introducing Goddess Hecate to my baby when she is a little older? Just introduce her to, as you would to anybody, pictures, statues, read some of the myths, some of the lovely verses to Hecate, or some of the stories about Hecate. You could have, if you're doing a daily practice with Hecate, you could have your baby there with you as you're doing your daily practice, just to enjoy that beautiful, beautiful spiritual energy. are the prerequisites for this course, or is it standalone? It is standalone. You don't have to have done like Wheels of Empowerment or anything. It is standalone. I do give a shamanic tapping um, script and demonstration in the course, so you can actually still use tapping as well, even if you've never done it before, because I do a really easy version of tapping for this kind of work. So it is standalone. You don't necessarily have to have done Witch School 101, although shadow work is technically a second degree um, Wiccan kind of thing. You don't have to have done, 101 to do this. This work really is the work that everybody should be doing, no matter who they are, where they are, what they believe, what religion they are. This kind of work of identity shifting is crucial to humanity, I believe, because a lot of the problems we experience in the world are caused by ego and by people's fears. We see so much greed in the world. We can only have to look at the hierarchies and look at corporations and how greedy they are, how they don't take into consideration health or anything. They just want to make huge, huge profits and huge, huge amounts of money. And so we've got all of this mindset around scarcity in the world that causes greed. And we have all of this, hierarchical stuff going on. If we're really in tune with who and what we truly are, the world would be a very different place. So, this works for everybody, no matter, where they are. So there are no prerequisites for it, for sure. Uh, if you're wanting to do the tarot version of it, you probably need to have at least have a book on tarot so that you can look up the meanings. I'm not going into any depth with the tarot component of the course because I have a tarot, how to read tarot course. And so I'm just assuming a lot in regards to the tarot component of the course. But it's still something you can do even if you've only got a deck of tarot cards and you've just got the book there on the meanings. You can still do the shadow work with the tarot cards. Okay, any advice for introducing? I just read that one. Cool. Awesome. Okay. So ask Hekate. First thing to do is start a daily practice. Ask Hekate to help you step more into who you are fully, and then sit back and observe for a little bit to see what comes your way. You might get an idea, you might get a thought, and then work that way. There's not a lot of guided meditations out there with Hekate. I've got a couple of videos on this channel of doing a ritual with Hekate, which is identity shifting. So you might want to look at that video. That can help you out. That's something you could do on a daily basis. I've also got a meditation with Hekate on this channel as well. So I'll link them in the description field in this video so that you can go and have a look at those. And they're really good ways to start this process. So asking for Hecate's guidance, have a look at the ritual that I've got, and have a look at the meditation that I've got with Hekate, and that's a good place to start. Okay, so, and if you are interested in doing learning witchcraft in general, so you're at that level where you're wanting to work with that first, I do work with Hekate in the Mystery Witch School 101 course. She's got a whole module dedicated to her, a daily practice that you do with her for the whole month so you can get familiar with her. And that course also involves everything to do with witchcraft practices, teaching you about energy work, magic, setting up circles, and working with the elements, working with the deities for the Sabbats, working with the lunar energy, all of that kind of stuff. So that's the Mystery Witch School 101 Academy course. And that's a very broad course in Wicca, a Wiccan version of witchcraft. So I'll put that in the link there. It's also in the description field below this video and on my website as well. If you go to my website, mysterywitchschool.com, you will find all of my courses there. You will also find some of the other freebies that I have there as well. And everything's actually listed in the description field below the video. So all of my free stuff's there and all of my courses are listed there as well. So you can just click on them and go and have a look on the website for more information. Elizabeth says, I have experienced many clear signs and synchronicities from her, especially when you ask number signs, words, you name it, she will confirm. Absolutely. She is good with the angel numbers. I know that some people may go, what have angel numbers got to do with Hecate? But she works with everything. Everything. Yes, she's very, very good. And she's fast. She will answer you almost immediately in some way, shape, or form. If out in an entire room, a bag on the floor, is that spell work or do I don't know what that means. Out of an entire room, a bag on the floor. Flashed. Blue. Okay. It could be magic. It depends on the context. It depends on the context of what you were doing, whether that's something to do with spell work you were doing, or whether that's got something to do with a message, or whether that's some other situation. You'd really have to look at what was going on there. Archdragon. Are there any Hecate for dummy type books you can recommend? Not really. There's not a lot written for Hecate. Yeah, a lot of there's some more. I mean, is it Sarita Deste? I think that's how she pronounces her name. She does some stuff on the historical side of it, which is quite good. We'll go and have a look. Those books are good. They're sort of coming more from the historical aspect. But there's not a lot out there written about Hecate. Cindy Brennan's got a book on the way that she works with Hecate. And I think there's another book out there of somebody else's experience with Hecate. So, but not necessarily working with Hecate for dummies. Okay. I feel she works differently with everyone. Yes, absolutely. People scared of the word witch. Yes, they are. Don't be afraid of being wise and being a witch. Yes. Yes, she will. Hecate is definitely a guide, and I think it's time we worked with Hecate as a guide and worked with Hecate for our higher evolution rather than for the ego's little upsets. Okay, everybody. Thank you very much for coming along today. I will see you again next week for another topic. And herbs or offerings. Yes, always give an offering at the end when you have been working with Hecate. Always give an offering as gratitude, simply just gratitude. Mugwort is a good herb to use if you're using herbs. Frankincense for incense, myrrh as an incense. Eggs, honey, pomegranates, all those sorts of things you can use as offerings, or simply offer her water. If you're working every day with her, you don't want to necessarily be going through all your eggs, for example. So you could offer honey, you could offer water even as an offering. Water can still be an offering. Water is precious. If we don't have water, we die pretty quickly. So it is a very, very precious thing. I think sometimes we underestimate that water is a very valuable thing, but it's one of the most valuable things here on the planet for most life forms. So even offering water is a good offering. Take care, everybody. Yes. Enjoy your week, and we will see you again next week. Blessed be.